All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us in our first ever inaugural coffee chat. My name is Logan Smith. I'm the Corporate Engagement Manager for the United Way of Greater Waterbury. And this is Ari. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
I'm the Volunteer Engagement Manager for United Way of Greater Waterbury.
Yes, so we kind of spearhead the emerging leaders affinity group here. So we do want to thank you guys for taking part in this and being involved. Without further ado, I will introduce the illustrious Cheryl Lindstrom, VP Community Outreach for Thomaston Savings Bank. Thank you very much for joining us and presenting the first topic, Philanthropy 101. But with that, I will hand it over to you.
Great. Good morning. Thank you for the introduction, Logan. I would like to thank the United Way of Greater Waterbury for having me, and thank you all for joining us. I hope everyone has their coffee or tea or whatever beverage it is that gets you through your morning and is ready for a casual chat about philanthropy. So as emerging leaders, you are the now and the future. You have an important role in understanding how philanthropy drives growth and bolsters community. I'd like to start out by asking who among us feels that they actively participate in philanthropy on some level. You can just leave a quick comment in the chat box, and we will revisit this at the end of our talk. More importantly, I would also like to ask that you please not keep track of how many times I stumble over the word philanthropy. So as we are amidst the holiday season, the giving season, I think that this is a great time to talk about philanthropy. So as Logan said, my name is Cheryl Lindstrom and I'm from Thomaston Savings Bank. I have the pleasure and privilege of being the bank's vice president in charge of community outreach, and I really do consider it a privilege. When I first began my career at the bank, I started part-time in commercial lending. The bank didn't even have a community outreach department. And at that time, a little later on, the bank's executive team recognized the growing need to steer its community impact with purpose and direction, and thankfully created the community outreach role. Prior to that, I always struggled when posed with the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? On a personal level, the creation of this role and the support from our executive team has allowed me to realize my true potential, and for that, I'm very grateful. And 6 years later, the community impact is one of the bank's 4 pillars of its strategic plan. I truly believe that I have the best job in the bank, and I've told the president that many times, and he agrees. So here, the Community Outreach Department has driven initiatives and programs aimed at supporting and engaging the community, such as providing financial education, charitable giving, volunteerism, and partnerships with local organizations like the United Way. I also administer the Thomaston Savings Bank Foundation, which has given over $10 million to local community organizations since its inception in 1997. So we're pretty proud of that milestone. In my younger days, I think I thought philanthropy was reserved for those who had considerable wealth. Now I know that philanthropy can start with the most modest donation, be it monetary or that of human capital. All of us may not be in a position to give substantial monetary gifts, but we all do have the ability to give our time to causes that have meaning to us. The lesson here is that volunteerism is essential to philanthropy because it strengthens the impact, reach, and authenticity of philanthropic efforts. So how does volunteerism amplify impact? Hands-on help complements financial donations, allowing nonprofits to achieve more with limited resources. A powerful example of this is Habitat for Humanity's community build projects. Habitat relies heavily on volunteers to help construct homes for low-income families. Volunteers come together to contribute their time, their skills, and labor, and this not only provides a source for affordable housing, it transforms neighborhoods and provides safe, stable places to live. So what began as a project aimed at helping an individual family achieve the dream of home ownership, it becomes now bigger than that and something impactful to the entire community. Volunteerism builds community connections. Working alongside your neighbors on a common goal strengthens community ties. It builds trust, fosters relationships, and creates a shared sense of purpose. Shared experiences create a sense of unity and camaraderie, allowing volunteers to potentially form lasting relationships based on mutual respect and the desire to make a positive impact. Volunteerism also brings people of different socioeconomic, cultural, and generational backgrounds together. This helps break down barriers and fosters a sense of belonging. Personally, I've made many connections and friendships through volunteering. Volunteerism demonstrates commitment and credibility. It shows that people are willing to give their time, not just money, which builds credibility for philanthropic initiatives, number one. This is especially true for corporations that offer paid time away from the office for their employees to engage in volunteerism. A policy of this type affirms the company's commitment to the community. Thomaston Savings Bank advocates for its employees to take paid time away from the office to participate in volunteerism. We regularly offer group initiatives to employees and created a brand for the bank. Our volunteers are branded as the Thomaston Savings Bank Can-Do Crew. This branding not only unifies our team, but it conveys a memorable and positive public image for the bank. The Can-Do Crew has been deployed to assist nonprofit agencies on 36 projects this year. And as a broader group, our employees contributed a total of 7,261 volunteer hours during this past fiscal year. So we have an employee base of about 230 individuals, and so I think those hours are pretty incredible. This speaks volumes to the bank's commitment to making our communities stronger. Volunteerism is important because it inspires giving and engagement. Volunteer experiences often lead to individuals to become donors, advocates, or lifelong supporters, creating a ripple effect which increases overall philanthropic support. Creating a personal connection to a cause often spurs on giving, be it money, resources, or additional volunteer time to support the work of the agency. Volunteering makes it real and personal, motivating individuals to go beyond their initial involvement. Contagious generosity is a term that captures the idea that one person's involvement in volunteer activities can inspire others to follow suit, creating a chain reaction of charitable action with a community organization. An example of this is this past year, the Can-Do Crew volunteered to staff the mobile pantry, a collaborative initiative brought to the city of Waterbury through the United Way and CT Food Share. While we had a core group dedicated to this task, each week we added to the group. Every person who volunteered with the mobile pantry raised their hand to volunteer for future service. And I can say that the bank's participation in Stock the Pantry this past year resulted in record-breaking food drive. For those employees who saw the reality of those experiencing food insecurity firsthand, were driven to do more and increase their giving. Volunteerism develops skills and it empowers individuals. Volunteer opportunities often involve learning new skills. Volunteers gain experience and thus feel empowered. This is especially true when corporate volunteers offer their expertise that can be valuable to nonprofit organizations, all while contributing to personal and professional development. Through volunteer work, individuals gain a sense of accomplishment and recognition, which can boost confidence and self-esteem. The hands-on experience that volunteering offers provides exposure to leadership and problem solving, as well as management, to name a few. So now that we've covered volunteerism and philanthropy, let's cover the monetary side. Financial aid is so important to individual and community impact. It drives positive social change by addressing critical issues, supporting underserved communities, and promoting well-being. Philanthropic funding is essential to assist our neighbors in need. Philanthropy empowers community. By providing resources, philanthropy helps communities address their unique challenges, whether through education, healthcare, or infrastructure. This empowerment builds resilience and fosters self-sufficiency. A great example of this is how agencies like the United Way and the Connecticut Community Foundation can mobilize funds to help in a myriad of ways, addressing issues stemming from poverty, unemployment, and access to education. By partnering with agencies who directly work with those who are under-resourced, they can assess needs as they arise and effectively respond to those needs. When residents are given the tools to improve their own lives, it inherently leads to stronger community networks and enhances local opportunities. Philanthropy drives innovation. It can fund initiatives that take risks, foster innovation, and allow for experimentation. These investments can lead to breakthroughs in social services, education, and technology solutions that may not be feasible otherwise. The Mattituck Museum uses philanthropy to propel its community outreach, bringing art programs to school and underserved populations in Waterbury. This funding enables the museum to not only innovate in terms of its exhibits and technologies, but also foster creativity and critical thinking skills in local youth and residents, helping to bridge the educational and cultural gaps. In this way, philanthropic support for the MAT has helped to drive innovation both in the arts and educational sectors, enhancing the museum's role as a cultural hub that fosters creativity, engagement, and learning in Waterbury. Philanthropy bridges inequality gaps. Many communities lack access to essential resources and opportunities. Philanthropy helps bridge these gaps, supporting causes such as education, healthcare, housing, and employment to promote equity and inclusion. A notable example of this is the work of Waterbury Youth Services, which, like many nonprofit agencies, is supported by philanthropic organizations, including local foundations, businesses, and individual donors. With this vital funding, WYS provides critical programs and services to underserved youth, including after-school programs, mentoring, and job training. For many Waterbury youth, WYS provides not only a safe space to learn and grow, but also the skills and support needed to break the cycle of poverty. Another great example of this is the United Way support for programs that improve access to basic needs, education, and financial stability for low-income families. For instance, their focus on early childhood education helps ensure that young children from disadvantaged backgrounds start school on equal footing, improving long-term outcomes and reducing gaps in academic achievement and future success. Their Flexible Assistance Fund, aimed at preventing homelessness, provides one-time financial support to those who are experiencing a documented temporary financial crisis that has put their housing in jeopardy. At times, this hand-up can be the difference between paying rent to secure housing and being evicted. Corporate and individual giving is essential to keep these programs running and available for those they were developed to serve. Philanthropy enhances social responsibility. When organizations invest in philanthropy, it strengthens their commitment to social responsibility, aligning business goals with the needs of society. This creates trust, deepens relationships, and often boosts employee engagement. A great example of this is the United Way's Community Impact Fund, which supports projects that address pressing social issues such as homelessness, food insecurity, access to healthcare, and educational disparities. Philanthropic contributions to the fund have helped sustain programs such as the Ryan Gibbons Homeless Outreach Program, which connects individuals experiencing homelessness to essential services, housing, and job opportunities. The United Way also partners with local agencies to provide financial literacy programs, job training, and mental health services to vulnerable populations, empowering them to improve their own lives and contribute positively to the community. Philanthropy encourages generational impact. Philanthropy often supports long-term initiatives that continue to benefit society long beyond immediate needs. By addressing the root causes of issues, philanthropic efforts can foster lasting change for future generations. Philanthropy isn't just about giving, it's about making a lasting, impactful difference. By prioritizing philanthropy, individuals and organizations alike can create ripple effects that lead to sustainable improvements in communities reaching far and wide. You may have noticed how many times I've referenced the United Way in this presentation, and that is because this agency is connected so closely with the community. They are equipped to provide resources to respond to the needs of our neighbors as they arise. Their collaborative approach and data-driven strategy makes them both effective and impactful, and their holistic focus enables comprehensive solutions which create lasting and positive change. They allocate resources to programs that deliver the greatest impact, ensuring that donor contributions directly benefit the community. For this reason, the bank and many other local businesses support their annual campaign, and beyond that, provide corporate sponsorships. Personally, I support many causes, but my annual pledge to the United Way is one that I know is vital for strengthening our community. So if you are new to philanthropy, you might ask, how do I begin? On a personal level, you must first, I say, start small. You don't need to make a large donation or commit large chunks of your time initially. Begin with smaller, more manageable contributions, a few hours at your local food pantry, or making a modest monetary donation to a favorite charitable organization. Starting small allows you to build upon your commitment at a reasonable rate that is meaningful to you. You should set clear goals. You need to define what you hope to achieve and set measurable objectives to help you track your impact. Budgeting for charitable gifting is a must, and this makes it purposeful and planned. Identify your passion and purpose. Choose causes or issues that resonate with you, whether it's education, health, the environment, the arts, or social justice. Understanding your motivation will help direct your efforts and keep you engaged. And before devoting your resources, research organizations. Find reputable nonprofits or community groups that align with your values. Research their mission and impact and be sure that your contributions will be used effectively. And once you determine where you would like to direct your time, be committed and consistent. Philanthropy is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing commitment to making a difference. You will not regret making it a regular part of your life. And make it a point to leverage your network, engage with family and friends and even colleagues to bring awareness and inspire others to join your cause. There's power in numbers. And finally, I would say that you need to evaluate and reflect as you continue your philanthropic work. Regularly assess the impact of your efforts and reflect on how you can improve. Consider whether your contributions are creating the desired change and adjust your approach as needed. On a professional level, if you're not aware of your company's policies, ask your HR department if your company has any volunteer initiatives. If not, you might consider spearheading a volunteer day where a company invests its workforce to assist the community. It could be something as simple as a general neighborhood cleanup on Earth Day, or maybe you're going to help paint a local soup kitchen. Pitch it as having public relations, social, and economic value to the company while providing intrinsic value to the community. So I just spoke a lot of words, and I hope that you enjoyed this presentation on Philanthropy 101. I hope that you all come away with a new or refreshed outlook on how we can each have an important role in ensuring our neighborhoods are supported. It is the responsibility of each of us to contribute to strengthening our communities and in any capacity that we might have. So Logan, now can we look at the responses to my question at the onset? Who here feels like they actively participate in philanthropy?
Sure.
Do we have any responses? Do they
I'm
equal
trying
our
to see.
attendees?
I don't see any actual chat responses, but I
Okay.
mean, I kind of gave myself like the thought, like in my head, I was using it to reflect as we went. So I can speak for myself. I think that honestly, first off, I just want to say that I thought that everything you said was phenomenal. I thought you did a terrific job.
Thank you.
And I think that, when you said starting off small, I think that that is like a big thing for some individuals. Like they might feel as though what they are capable of giving might not be meaningful, or it might be, insignificant. But I think that it's important to remember that, there's no such thing as a small donation, whether it's monetary or time-based. Just the fact that you're, giving something back or doing something, that's what's really important. So that's something that I often lose sight of. I think it's important to remember that, like I said, there is no donation that's too small. There's no facet of giving back that's insignificant. So that's kind of the thought that I really took away from this after your presentation.
Well, good. I think it's important to realize that, monetary gifts, especially, if they're significant to you, they're significant. So if you may not be able to give, what the CEO or president of this company can give, but if it's meaningful to you, it's meaningful. And so I think that's the real purpose and drive behind philanthropy is, just the giving aspect of it. So I think that's an important message.
Definitely.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I'm interested. I'll open the chat here. I had a question going into it that you answered. I was curious when you first started with Thomaston Savings Bank, what the internal community outreach, like the philanthropic nature of Thomaston Savings was when you got there, and how it's changed over time. And then also, I know your can-do crew very well. I've had the opportunity to work with them on numerous occasions. But I was also just wondering if you could reiterate like the importance you think philanthropy and giving back and community outreach has on like team building and like community building. Just briefly, really quick.
Yeah, sure. So when I was hired at the bank, we did have community support, of course, from the bank side, and the foundation was up and running and we had support there. And I think what's changed with the development of this department and my role is that our giving is focused. We're making more connections in the community. I'm very connected with you all at the United Way. So when needs arise, we're aware and we're able to respond to it. So I think that's a really important part of my role here. And as far as philanthropy in business, I think that it, especially I can speak for the bank as a whole, it's part of our culture. And so, we know that supporting our community is so important, and that's the work we do every day. And then by offering these volunteer experiences, we're able to work across, department lines and branches and meet people that we don't get to interact with all of the time. But it really does form a bond with people when you're out working for the common good. Especially, I think, when you're working to assist the underserved populations, but really, in any capacity, if it's at your local museum or your church, I think that giving back it's kind of contagious. It's addicting, and once you do it, you're always looking for new ways to continue it.
Just had a comment in the chat here from Rachel. Loved seeing the can-do crew preparing the birthday cake kits this past year. Really cool way that the team got together to address a need that is often overlooked. And that is something I think I can speak for Ari as well. Like when we saw how your team came together, I think that the amount of hits you made like blew us away. And then firsthand, like going out and giving those kits to I can say Barbara Ann Dublin at GWIM. She was just so thankful and was able to speak, like say, you don't realize people coming in, everybody has a birthday, but a lot of people coming in, didn't have, something as simple as a birthday cake or just something to, have on their special day. So yeah, that was honestly incredible. And I reiterate what Rachel said. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you. It was a great project, and thank you so much to Ari for bringing that need to our attention, because honestly, we all were, just kind of taken aback by, wow, this is truly something we take for granted, that people have a birthday cake on their birthday, and some families just can't afford that extra cost to their budget. So it was a really fun project, and it was fun to coordinate that in conjunction with the bank's 150th birthday. So it was really meaningful, and we enjoyed it.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments? No. Well, once again, I would like to thank you all for tuning in. Cheryl, again, I would like to thank you as well. I thought that was tremendous. It was really insightful and just awesome way to kickstart my day. So without further ado, that's it for us. But if anybody has, would like to reach out, other topics they'd like to see covered or questions or anything at all, Cheryl, I saw you put your email in the chat.
I did.
I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you know how to get a hold of Ari and myself. Always, willing to answer questions or help you guys however you need it. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday and stay dry.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.